Referral selling drives predictable revenue.
Welcome back, Strategic Selling Group, and all my other followers out there. I've got Joanne Black with me again. Welcome, Joanne.
Thank you, John.
Hey, we had a great discussion last time about systemising referrals, getting referrals, the whole process doing that, making sure the priorities are set and it's part of the culture and setting metrics and so on. It crossed my mind at the time, particularly for the senior managers and executives out there that might be thinking about putting a system like this in place. Does it pay? Have you got metrics that show that we really do get a return on investment by investing in a referral selling program?
I guess I wouldn't be here speaking to you if it didn't.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing what they might be.
Well, and everybody is concerned about predictable revenue. You hear that term. We may have qualified leads in our pipeline, but how do we know? How can we actually accurately predict referral selling?
The biggest challenge in a lot of organisations, and you hear about organisations missing their forecast and not forecasting well, and that has ramifications right through their organisation in developing their capability to deliver a good customer experience. So it affects revenue, but also affects customer experience. So if referral selling can help us address that, I'd be excited.
Well, it certainly can. And the thing is, so many salespeople we know, the pipeline is smoke and mirrors, as we call it, which is, as sales leaders, that doesn't pan out. So referrals, we get the meeting in one call, that we differentiate ourselves from the competition, especially today, John, because everybody's typing away and people aren't having the conversations they need to have.
Mm-hmm.
And so the competition disappears. And if we have competition, we actually have the inside track, and our sales process shortens. Now, the conversion rate, when we get that referral introduction, is well more than 50%. And for years, people told me it was 50% when they got the introduction to the person they needed to meet.
Right. And 50% is much better than most of the organisations I know out there are achieving.
Much more, but here's what's happened in the last couple of years. I do polls all the time when I speak, and I work with sales teams, and I offer webinars, and I'll ask that question. When you receive an introduction to the person you want to meet, what % of the time does that prospect convert to a customer?
And?
Now the needle has moved to 70% plus.
Why? What's driven that change?
I don't have any research about that except my own feet on the street research.
The intuition you've
Yes.
got, I'm sure is very good.
I believe it's because everybody is typing away and they're using technology to try to connect. So those of us who are in there having conversations, and our job, I believe, is to get in there early, build a relationship. And then when all these latecomers come, well, they don't have a chance.
But technology is important. We need to, even if we've got a referral, we need to research the organisation, research the individual. We use technology for that. We'll source big data and all sorts of stuff to help us get insight. So we're bringing something of value on the call. So you still need technology for that sort of thing. And then there's a whole world of social selling out there that we talk about. Okay? So you're not saying technology is not important.
Technology is extremely important, but people don't buy our technology. They buy what technology does for them, and we forget that. And so if everybody is reaching out through technology, and I'm in there having conversations, well, you can see the difference. But let's just take 50% conversion rate, because that's easy math for me. Okay?
And it's a good result anyway. Yeah, okay.
I'm not even playing with 70%,
Right.
but 50% conversion rate.
Right.
So let's take an example. Say that, and this is very conservative, say that you reach out to 20 people and ask them for a referral introduction, because that's the definition of a referral. You get introduced.
It's not, oh, yes, here's his name and phone number.
No, not at all. So you receive the introduction, and say you ask 20 people. But very conservatively, say 10 of those people say, John, I'd really like to help you, but I don't know anybody right now. But say that 10 of them make the correct introduction. 50% conversion rate means you get 5 new clients.
And that's out of 20 phone calls.
Or meetings, or coffees, or
whatever.
having a beer,
20
or whatever.
meetings, 20
Yes.
interactions.
20 interactions, that's right. That's what happens. The math is so simple, and it pays. And I didn't make these numbers up. These are everybody I ask. That's what they say.
That's incredible when you look at those numbers. So you're saying you're really, with 20 interactions, you're getting 5 orders. It's not, hey, 12, 15 interactions or approaches to get one prospect and then take them through the sales process and win 1 in 3 or 1 in 4. You're saying actually 25% of asking for referrals gets an order.
Absolutely minimum.
Absolutely minimum. Wow, I knew referral selling was very powerful, but those numbers blow me out of the water. When I drive that now through the pipeline and look at the productivity we get out of our sales force and all the supporting staff, that changes the formula right upside down.
Oh, it does. And the irony and the sad part is that so few companies have the referral system in place to make that happen.
And they're investing enormously in other technologies and social selling and finding productivity issues with all of those when they could be doing something, I was going to say, as simple as this. It's not. I know it's not simple, but it's certainly a highly productive way.
Well, predictable revenue.
Predictable revenue.
Referral selling drives predictable revenue.
So for all those decision makers out there, Joanne has just raised some really interesting numbers that perhaps you need to research further, because if you're one of the 95% that doesn't have a referral system in place and a whole methodology in place and have implemented it with the high priority and driven a cultural change with the training and metrics around it, you're missing out on an enormous opportunity to change your business, to drive different metrics right through your business, drive profitability, grow your customer base, and beat the competition out.
You nailed it, John. That's what it's about.
Hey, I'm looking forward to the rest of our discussion because I'm going to be learning a lot here too. Thank you very much for your time and your insight, Joanne.
Thanks, John.